Yeah, thank you.
How much I weigh?
154.
154?
Yes, sir.
All right, weigh me one more time.
All right, 150.
150? Why are they on?
Tank maybe walks around at 150. Maybe. We know he's not walking around at 170. We could maybe say 160, but we know without a shadow of a doubt 150.
You ready?
Don't dump it on me.
Put it on that side. Put it on that side. On that side,
Curtis, we finally got him in some water, right?
Got him in there.
No, that weight class and tank weight class, you have to be concerned about that. So we got to be laser focused and just do what we do.
Ahead of his battle with Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis appears larger and more powerful. The weight idea is not working because Tank Gervonta Davis's strategy versus Jake Paul is solely concentrated on the body, despite his exceptional talent and effortless power. In an attempt to slow Jake down and cause him to drop his hands, he is using all of his shots to chop down steps. It would be wise to use this body attack to open the door for a possible knockout later in the bout.
See, bro, this is why Tank pisses me off, man. Look at the talent and the skill and the effortless power and snap and rotation and change of direction and angle cutting that Tank possesses. But look at where all these punches are aimed. Everything to the body. Everything to the body. Chopping, downstairs, chopping. Even his shots upstairs here. That's still a body shot on Jake Paul. And it's probably the best idea if you actually want to knock Jake out in this fight. It's not that it's necessarily going to hurt Jake to the body and he's going to cripple, but it's going to slow him down, or at least that's the idea, is to slow him down, to drop his hands. That is when we could see a potential Tank Davis.
However, David Benavidez insisted on seeing Gervonta Tank Davis face elite fighters like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson first. Although he acknowledged that the Jake Paul fight is a high-profile event, he believed that Tank, as a world champion, should be focusing on those battles that will define his legacy. Benavidez thought it was a risky size mismatch, where Jake may knock him out rather than a true talent duel.
Okay with Tank accepting that fight, but I would tell you my problem about that. Now,
Okay.
you know, I don't want nobody to feel mad.
Okay.
Not about the fight. I just want to see Tank fight Shakur Stevens, Devin Haney, all the fights, man. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's Tank. You know, as a world champion first, he should give us those fights. Because those are the fights I want to see. Not taking anything away from the fight with Jake Paul. I know it's going to be a big fight with big money, but it's not really, it's competitive to the point where it's not really about the skill. It's about the size and the skill. You know what I mean? Because Tank is way smaller than Jake Paul, you know, but we know that if he lands a good shot, it could be over for Tank. But also, in my opinion, Jake Paul is so big that if he lands the right shot, maybe if he lands in the back of the head or in the side of the head, it might be over too. So it's not really about.
Furthermore, David Benavidez thought the draw was in the tank. The outcome of the bout between Roach and Davis was fair, as Roach demonstrated his ability to compete at that high level. Tank's decision to skip the rematch, in his opinion, is regrettable since it denies Roach the chance to demonstrate his superiority. Benavidez adds that Roach would have legitimately won the bout if the referee had ruled Tank's knee a knockdown.
Tank and Roach.
I think it's a good fight. I think Roach showed that he deserves to be in there. And it sucks too because Roach, to be honest with you, the first fight, I didn't expect Roach to really do much in the first fight. And not only is he's taking another opportunity away from Roach to show his greatness, because he showed that he could, you know, he's on the same level as Gervonta Davis. You know, for the rematch, you know, that was going to be his way to prove himself. But now that's not happening.
Do you think that draw was the right decision, even with the knee not being counted? Or do you think maybe the knee should have been counted as a knockdown?
I think it's the referee's job to make those decisions. You know what I mean? I think if he would have made that call, then yeah, Roach.
Emiliano Vargas stated that he thought Gervonta Davis would prevail even in an exhibition. He foresaw that Tank would be struck, lose his passion, and then make a sincere attempt to knock Jake Paul unconscious. Vargas believed that this would result in a crazy and must-see knockout, ensuring that spectators would attend the bout despite the formal regulations.
No winner. Exhibition.
But I see Gervonta getting hit with something, and he just gets mad, bro, because he can't control his temper sometimes. From what I've seen, you know, and I think he'll try to put it on.
Do you think that ends in a knockout? That would be insane.
It would be insane, bro. It would be insane. People are gonna watch it regardless.
I know. I'm excited for it.
Hey, so am I. I want to be there.
But it it was supposed to be in Georgia first or something. They said no.
Lamont Roach, meantime, stated that the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis bout doesn't really interest him. He didn't take it seriously from a professional boxing sense, but he did like the excitement and good times around it. During a press conference, Jarvin claimed that by selecting Jake Paul above genuine opponents like Roach, he is acting in his own best interests. According to Brian Custer, that means Gervonta is undoubtedly receiving a sizable payout, roughly $40 million. Therefore, this conflict makes financial sense.
Paid too much for it. I'm a real boxer. Like, I'm not saying, like, you know what I'm saying? It's for like I said yesterday, it's for shits and giggles. Like, it's cool. It's entertainment. I get it. It's very entertaining, but outside of entertainment, like, I really don't care for it too much.
At the press conference, I asked Gervonta, why Jake Paul? Why not Lamont Roach? And he said, listen, quote, I'm not trying to put too much out there, but I'm doing what's best for me and what's right for me.
Let me ask you a question. How do you assess that?
It sounds like to me that I'm getting, guaranteed at least 40 million, and I'm going to go with.
Looking forward, Clarissa Shields' viewpoint. She questioned Gervonta Davis's decision to retire after his fight with Jake Paul rather than take on elite opponents like Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and opponents he had already defeated like Ryan Garcia. Given their prior trash talk, she thinks Tank, the boxing industry's top guy, should be keen to prove himself against these opponents.
What I'm saying is that when two fighters want to fight, they fight. So it's always like, I don't care what nobody say. Gervonta got skills out this world. He's a scary dude. He's scary. Ain't no way he say he supposed to come back and get Shakur, Devin, Ryan, Teofimo, whoop all these. He like, I'm about to retire after I fight Jake. No, I don't let nobody talk about me like that. The way that Shakur disrespect him, the way that Devin talked to him, the way that Ryan, he already knocked out Ryan. The way that these dudes be talking, he supposed to come back and get them. He the man, right? He who everybody say is the best. I ain't leaving no food on the table. When I'm done boxing, I'm whooping all these girls.
Clarissa Shields also thought that the most likely boxer to defeat Gervonta Tank Davis was Shakur Stevenson. She also gave Deon Haney an opportunity to outbox him, but cautioned that Haney would be in danger due to Tank's strength. She concludes by mentioning Terrence Crawford as another accomplished fighter who is prepared and skilled enough to take on such a task.
Who you think could be Gervonta?
I think Shakur Gervonta Davis, and I used to think Devin. I think Devin can outbox Tank, but once Tank catch him, it's gonna be a long night. But only person I think that can beat him is Shakur. I'm trying to think is anybody else. I'm not gonna say I think that Teofimo can beat him. I think that Teofimo is gifted, but I don't think he can beat Tank. As far as in the men, it's only a few men who I know will fight anybody. And people not gonna like this. But that's Shakur, and that is Terrence Crawford.
Hold on.
I don't know about the rest of these men.
I'll give you one more.
Who?
Devin Haney.
Devin Haney fight anybody. He go to their country and fight.
Chris Aldry didn't mince words. He said that since prior to his most recent bout, Gervonta Davis had been psychologically checked out of boxing. He cited an earlier interview in which Tank stated that he wanted to retire and spend more time with his family. According to Algaray, Tank is now avoiding serious boxers because he no longer wants to engage in difficult battles, and the latest draw was a final indication. He comes to the conclusion that the battle with Jake Paul is a cash-out attempt to end his career.
was checked out prior to the Roach fight. I thought this was all going to be in the works, where he was supposed to beat the 16-1 Roach and then go on to fight Jake Paul and then call it a career, because I think the people around him understood there wasn't much left in the tank for him in terms of his want or his desire to be here. He did an interview with Dan Canobio about 18 months ago where he was like, yeah, man, I just kind of want to raise my family. I don't know how much left of boxing for me. I don't want to see a therapist. I want to, I need to, but like, I don't want to take away from my fighting. But I think it's time for me to do stuff like that. So I think the writing's been on the wall for Tank for a while. So that draw was kind of just like, I was on the way out anyway. I don't need to go back in there. And I said it at the end of that fight. I'm like, there's no way we see that rematch. He was so uncomfortable in that ring with Roach. He doesn't want to feel that again. He showed that night. So I'm not surprised that fight's not happening. I'm not even surprised he's fighting Jake Paul now. It's a cash out.
However, because it makes sense, Roy Jones Jr. is thrilled about a Tank Davis versus Jake Paul exhibition. He claims that Tank is more than capable of knocking out Jake Paul in a real bout. He does, however, acknowledge the danger, pointing out that Tank could be knocked out by Jake Paul due to his significantly larger size. According to Jones, a real competitive battle between them would be exciting and risky for both parties.